First of all, obviously, last week we already hit on Orlov and Hathaway. They've looked great so far. Luckily,
Bobby Orlov.
We were recording at Bobby Orlov. He's been a beast. So, trade one of Donnie's season has been awesome. But we're gonna get into what happened today. The breaking news: we have Tyler Bertuzzi was traded to the Boston Bruins for
Whoa. That's the older family member. We're talking about
I said Todd.
Tyler.
Oh, my God. I said Todd. How are they? Are they cousins? That's so great.
I think it might be like uncle, nephew.
Something like that. We can maybe fact check that.
I can text my uncle right now. He's a diehard Detroit fan. He'll know.
Guys, if you're not watching our podcast on YouTube, you're missing out. We have the graphics right now. We have everything going. It looks fantastic. But Tyler Bertuzzi was traded to the Boston Bruins for a conditional 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 fourth-round pick. The conditions on that 2024 first-round pick is it is top 10 protected, which for me is all I can ask for. If we get a top 10 pick because we suck so bad next year, like hell I want it. But if not, fuck it. Let's ride.
And I think that's like 100% part of what Steve Yzerman is banking on here is he's like, yeah, this team's probably going to fall apart in this offseason with the struggles ahead. So I'll take the 2024, no problem. Top 10 protected is, not as great, but not as bad as you can get as far as the Bruins' perspective goes. I mean, like you had said prior to the show here while we were just kind of, hanging out and shooting the shit, Julian Breezebaugh speaks a lot of sense. A first-round pick's nothing if you can get an NHL player.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, I've completely changed my thinking in the last year that I'm always would rather have an NHL player than the draft pick if the NHL player is just worth it. You know what I mean? Like, am I trading 5 first-rounders and 82 second-rounders for Tanner Jeannot? Probably not. But for, for Bertuzzi, the conditions here, everything, I like it. Listen, if things go so bad that we have the second overall pick, it's still ours. So that makes me feel safe, and that makes me be like, all right, this was a great move for Boston. How do you see him slotting into the lineup, guys?
I definitely see him going on the third line, right wing. Probably Frederick moving down to the fourth. Could knock Nosek out. Put Freddie at center. But and also depending on where Taylor Hall is. If Taylor Hall is healthy, comes back to the playoffs, and he's healthy, having a third line of Hall, Coyle, and Bertuzzi, that's unreal. Like, most teams don't even have that on their second. So I'll take that all day.
And since you kind of led us into it, I guess that's the perfect segue. We can skip over a topic here and talk about the health of Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno. Somebody here on the show actually had your article updates on Inside the Rink the past couple of days. Taylor Hall obviously reported back to Boston during the road trip with a lower body injury. And Nick Foligno likewise came back with the team after leaving the game and not returning in Calgary. Taylor Hall today was placed on long-term injury reserve, part of the reason that the Bruins are supposedly have made this Tyler Bertuzzi trade and how they make the money work. But he's also sought out a second opinion to see how long he's expected to be out. My assumption is if they're putting him on LTIR, he's probably going to be out for the rest of the year, my assumption. But Nick Foligno only being on IR leads me to think that he's only going to be out for a week or two. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I look at it the same way. I think that Fliggy's going to be back sooner rather than later, which is huge, obviously. I mean, you definitely don't want to lose Nick Foligno. He's about as important as possible in that locker room. Taylor Hall, though, he's bad, I think. I think Hall could be out long term. They said they wouldn't rule out surgery, and I'm just hoping that he's back for the playoffs. I'm hoping we're doing a little Tampa Bay cheat. That's what I'm hoping, that he's going to sit till the playoffs.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but...
No, I know. I look at it, I'm like, it's like I was just having a conversation with my dad when we were on our way home, and it's like, wow, that's peaceful. Thanks, Kev. It's like, you look at it, and is the Bruins lineup better today with Bertuzzi in and Hall and Foligno out? No, not really. But, genuinely hoping that they're both going to be back. And then, the team's a juggernaut either way, with or without them. But with them and Bertuzzi out of the picture and Hathaway and Orlov, it's like, wow. I'm pretty happy with the shape of this team for sure. Now we got typing. It's just getting wild here with all the noises I'm hearing. I don't know if I'm hearing things in my head. But that jumps us into the next one. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else on Hall and Foligno? We don't know much about them. Like the Bruins kind of have their little smoke screen up while they figure it out. But I do have a question for you both. Do you think that Taylor Hall going to LTIR and them realizing his injury is bigger than what they originally thought have anything to do with them getting Bertuzzi today? Or do you think they were going to get him either way?
100% they're related.
I think they were still making a big splash. I don't think it was going to be Bertuzzi, but with the extra cap space, they made it Bertuzzi. But I think they're getting someone regardless.
I think they upgraded the pitch that they were going to have for a depth player. And like Jake said earlier before we started recording here, I mean, they might still have time to make another move, you know? So it's really hard to tell, but I think as a Bruins fan, you just sit back and you relax and you're like, well, we have the best team in hockey who doesn't know how to lose games very easily.
They played like shit the other day against Calgary. They still...
Yeah,
and they still
absolutely.
won. Because Omar's elite.
Elite.
Capital E.
Oh.
Speaking of somebody elite, I heard there's another guy in Boston who's pretty elite who might have a fresh new contract.
David Pastrnak. I could not tell you how happy I was today. I was ready to run around my office and look like an idiot. I didn't. I stayed at my desk and just didn't work for 20 minutes as I smiled.
To be fair, I did. And the gals that I work with witnessed me running around like a psycho in the office, and they were like, "What are you doing?"
Well, they should know. David Pastrnak time.
No. I got to work as the Tyler Bertuzzi trade broke. Elliot Friedman came across my beautiful phone screen as I went to clock in, saying Bertuzzi to Boston. And then shortly thereafter, we saw the post. And I sent it to you guys immediately, and I said, it's happening. This is exactly what they did with Bergeron and Krejci over the summer. Here we go. And sure enough, they blessed us with an 8-year, $90 million contract, which works out to be $11.25 million a year on the AAV. It is completely out of the realm of the, quote, norm in Boston for a contract and taking less money so that the team can succeed, which one is kind of ironic for me because David Pastrnak on his previous contract said that it wasn't about the money and that's not why he plays, etc.
I still don't think it is.
I still don't think either, but
he stayed out of this deal. He said it. He let his agent and Don just do it. He had nothing to do with it till yesterday.
I think on the opposite end of this, like where we say like, oh, well, maybe he'll take more money to, field a better team. On the opposite side of things as a Bruins fan, I think it's time that we look at this and we say, okay, the Jacobs family isn't what we've been told and what we've been grown to know as far as being cheap or anything like that. Like they threw the bag at Pastrnak and there is a significant amount of money in signing bonuses.
They also threw the bag at McAvoy. They also have completely redone the rink. They've also put beautiful restaurants and bars in the rink. They've helped build a hotel on the rink. For everyone who talks all this shit about the Jacobs family, I just don't agree. Like, the Garden has become a great place to be at. The team is always competitive. They always spend to the cap. They're willing to do bonuses. They're willing to go out of their way to keep talent. And when in our lifetimes have they not? Like, I just don't agree with it. Like, I don't at all. Like, we went out and we got Chara. We went out and we got Mark Savard. Like, we've always gone out and gotten these franchise cornerstone players and signed them to long-term deals. So, no, like, we're not the Arizona Coyotes. Like, there's no, like, we're out here acting like we're being told we can't spend to the cap. Like, zero chance. So the Bruins are going to be competitive, or at least attempt to be competitive every year. And I'm like, thankful that, as a fan, we have the Jacobs as our owners. Really, like, I don't know. I guess, like, people don't like them because, I don't know, maybe it's some of their, like, political views and things like that. I don't even know what they are. So, like, I like the Jacobs family, the hockey people. I don't know what they support and everything else, to be honest.
And I think this deal is great because, like, also you look at it, if the cap is going up in the next couple of years, the amount it's supposed to be, and Pasta keeps having 40-goal seasons, it's going to be a steal. It's when everything's up and people start getting 13, 14, maybe 15 million a year. And you have
I
Pasta
think-
locked in like this.
Have you guys looked at the year by year? You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've looked at the year by year, and it starts at like 13 this year
Yeah.
and tapers off to
Yeah,
like around 9 at the end, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's 13, 13, 12.5, 11.25, 11.25, 10.5, 9.59. So contract gets more movable as his trade clauses go away.
Yeah, the first 5 years is a full no move, and then
Yep.
there's modified no trades in the last 3, I believe.
Which is normal for your star. Like, that's just normal
Yeah.
superstar stuff.
I think that this kind of will tip the hand on where the Jacobs family is going to vote this offseason when it comes to cap-related reasons. I think the Jacobs family might vote in favor of moving the cap up more than just $1 million because, let's be honest, folks, the Bruins next year are in a world of hurt. They have, I think, less than $4 million left.
Yeah, it's like
The
3.6
cap
or
goes up
something.
2.5 instead of 1. That helps them greatly. And Jeremy Jacobs is one of the most powerful owners in sports. Don't
And
be
the
fooled.
NHL, the director of the NHLPA is a guy who may or may not have received money from the most powerful man in the NHL ownership
Marty
world.
Walsh.
But that's a conspiracy theory for the tinfoil hat crowd.
No, I don't think it is. I think that's
No,
public.
I'm just,
I was saying that's public.
to be very clear, I'm just making fun of the situation. I don't think that there's any like real conspiracy here. I think
No,
that they're two
it's-
completely separate things.
Yeah.
So to be clear, for all the people who are about to have a meltdown, just making a joke.
Connor's got to watch out for that stuff now. He's been targeted.
Relax.
But yeah, I mean, all good things. Like, we can't. It's funny because I love being like the pessimistic Bruins fan, and we haven't got to do it once this year.
You've said that
Like,
I'm way more pessimistic
no, you
than
are.
you
You're
are.
worse than me, but I love to bitch. Like, I love to bitch about him. They've given us nothing to bitch about this year. And Don Sweeney, sign that guy to a lifetime contract.
Oh my God.
I'm saying it. What? I don't care. His
I'm just
drafting
happy that
hasn't
he
been
finally
bad.
leaned into not drafting.
That's what I mean. Whatever, dude. He's not the best drafter. His drafting has not been that bad. He dominates.
He can make
the
a trade,
deadline.
though.
He
Make a
dominates the
trade.
trade deadline. He dominates contracts. Nobody walks away from the
Deal it
Bruins. The
down.
only guy who did was Krug, which kind of sucked. But he signed McAvoy. He signed Pastrnak. He signed Olmark to a great deal.
Signed
gonna sign
Lindholm
Bertuzzi
after
to a
trading
great deal.
Lindholm.
I think Bertuzzi could. We can talk about that before we move on to the next stuff. I think Bertuzzi, Tyler Bertuzzi. I think he.
Oh, by the way, I did get a text confirmation from my uncle. Shout out, John. Yes, Tyler is Todd's nephew.
Yeah, so I was close enough.
Long time
Bloodlines.
Detroit fan. We're
Bloodlines.
good.
The fuck. I think he's re-signable. I think he's the type of guy that is a Bruins type player. But we're gonna see. I mean, let's just hope the Bruins win the cup this year, and then there's gonna be some major changes that not everyone loves. That's for damn sure. But if we want to stay competitive, obviously things are gonna have to change.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into. There's a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, that kind of wraps up the Bruins. The Bruins are in great position. They're ready to make a long run and hammer them to win the Stanley Cup.